a complete one-sided affair in favor of the San Francisco 49ers, who are 5-0 alongside the Philadelphia Eagles. How many quarterbacks in the National Football League would you take over Brock Purdy right now?
In this offense, Jay? I mean, that's a good question. In this offense, with the weapons he has, I would have to say 0. And the reason being is if you take one of these $40 million guys, someone else has got to go.
Right.
And you look at what they're doing on this offense, every game it's somebody different with the big plays, the big stats. But, I mean, they're running the ball, they're throwing the ball, they're utilizing the tight end, they're utilizing the running backs. What can't they do? Whatever you're going to give them or whatever matchup they think they have, they're going to utilize it. And we talk about Brock Purdy, like you said, he just makes things look so easy back there. It's fluid. The ball's delivered on time. The decisions seem to always be right. And that's why I would say in this offense, the answer is 0. He is the perfect fit for what Kyle Shanahan is trying to do, and he is playing at such an elite level. It's fun to watch.
And I wrote something down that Chris Collinsworth said because I wanted to talk to you about it. Said about Brock Purdy, this guy processes as well as anyone in the NFL. And when he says that, what does he mean exactly?
So when Collinsworth says that, which last week I had a bit of a debate, I wasn't thrilled with a couple comments Collinsworth made, but I think he's right on the money here. If you watch a lot of these plays, I mean, the early one here is an extended play. And when he starts adding that into his game, it's even more dynamic. But a lot of these other throws, you see guys are hit right in stride. And even the subtle movements in the pocket with his eyes, with his hips, he's going through his progressions or he's manipulating defensive players or defensive backs. And there's a few times that I remember one play, Christian McCaffrey caught a little check down. And it was one of those things where it wasn't an electric play, it wasn't explosive, but you see Purdy come back. He's trying to let something unfold down the field. He realizes the clock is ticking. He doesn't have it. He doesn't force anything. He doesn't throw up a prayer. Boom, the hips turn, right, paints his check down, knows exactly where he's going to be. Next thing you know, it's a great football play, and he picks up 7 yards. Little plays like that go a long way when you consistently do them.
We're going to get to your thoughts on George Kittle in a second because I know you got him. But first, George Kittle standing by with Brock Purdy and Melissa Stark. He's so classic, and it looks like he's in the Allman Brothers. He's just hanging out. He's just having fun.
Yes.
He's just having fun. He's probably seen all the attention Travis Kelce's getting, and he's like, hey, come on, man.
I mean, he's dominant, and I think he's the most complete tight end in the NFL, Jeff.
Right.
It's electric, and like you said, he's having fun. But to me, his run game and his blocking is what are most impressive. Obviously, he had the 3 touchdowns, but if you look at how they use him in the run game, here he's in a combination block. On a linebacker, you expect him to win, and he does. Here, he's going to step outside on Lawrence, and you're going to see Juszczyk come on the inside. That's a planned play. Climbs up to the backer, does a great job. Another time, we're now mano-a-mano with Parsons, and you see Parsons try to extend his arms there. Most tight ends get condensed into the hole, and the play goes nowhere. Not Kittle. And again, backside, we get a nice chip, climbs up to the backer, and then on the final side, you see, again, this technique where he's going to chip Parsons on the way up to absolutely bullying a backer out of the way. Juszczyk picks up Parsons. The way this guy is utilized in the run game, and just the variety of different blocks, a lot of these tight ends will be like, okay, we can count this guy to hold, backside blocks, but we'll never have him front side. Or if we can get the matchup on a linebacker, we're good. But if not, we've got to scheme something else out here. Those are just a few clips where you watch him double team with a tackle, twice double team on their best defensive players with a fullback, a matchup that most teams wouldn't love. Right. Micah Parsons versus a tight end.
Yeah.
And they're taking that. And he's able to climb and be athletic enough to get to the second level on quicker DB linebacker style guys and drive them out of the box. These are small things that when you turn on the game film on Monday and you're like, hey, why are we having so much success? They don't show up on the stat sheet, but that is the reason this offense goes as well as it does.
So versatile and pairs so well with Juszczyk, too. And then for the Cowboys, this was such a hyped-up matchup. Cowboys came in obviously thinking they could win this thing and just were not even in the same arena with this Niners team. Did it confirm that they are the team you thought they were?
Yeah. What was disappointing, and we talked about this all week, Jay, was when you play a team as great as the Niners, and the Cowboys are a good team, but they're not on paper at the level the Niners are at, your margin for error becomes very small. You have to go out and play not a perfect game, but near to it. And we talked about the Cowboys creating turnovers, and as you see here, it was the polar opposite. I mean, we're very, very loose with the ball. There are some forced throws. We're taking shots downfield. And at some points, yes, the game was starting to get out of hand. But all game, it was just tough for them to move the ball. And you're turning the ball over. And the last thing I'll say, which was disappointing, is you look at the way these two teams are built. And to me, you've got, as we've talked about, a quarterback who is on a rookie contract on the Niners and a bunch of playmakers. But they all play within a system. Where on the other side of the ball, you've got these high-name guys making big money. And if you're going to go that route, in big-time games, your big-time players need to make big-time plays.
Yeah.
And not one of their big-time players looked good tonight. And I think it starts with Dak, who, was below average. Pollard was really, shut down in the run game. I think he had one late when they were down a bunch. And CeeDee Lamb was almost non-existent. And if you're a Cowboys fan, like, those are your big three.
Yeah,
you want to see them ball out on Sunday Night Football against the best team in the league, not all three of them pretty much get shut down.
Yeah, it didn't happen. We talked about the Bills last week. You were so impressed with them last week. Where's my question? Here we go. I want to ask you about this. What do you make of that Bills loss? I think a lot of people are obviously going to give them a bit of a mulligan on this one. Just considering the travel, the fact that the Jags were there all week. They were there last week. What do you think?
So, first and foremost, I thought it was outrageously unfair to the Bills. Not only did they get there late, but that being said, the fact that Jacksonville was able to play there last week and, play a back-to-back week in London, I thought was unbelievably unfair. But that being said, you sit here and if I'm the Bills, there's adversity, yes, but I'm the best team in this league. That's how I'm thinking. If I'm in that Bills locker room, and if I'm one of these leaders, I'm saying to myself, okay, odds are stacked against us. How are we going to win this game? And the way to do that is to come out and play fundamentally sound football. Establish the run game early, keep everything third and manageable, convert on third downs, and stop the Jags on third down.
Yeah.
Instead, you come out wildly flat. You drop a ball on the first drive. I believe they went 3 and out, and 1 first down, 3 and out.
Yeah.
They were, I want to say, 5 of 12 on third down conversions. They gave up 10 of 18 on third down stops. And running the ball, they had 29 total yards. Cook, who's their number one back, ended with -4 rush yards. And of the 29, around half of it was Josh Allen's scrambles. So what pains me about the Bills is they have so much talent.
Yeah.
And obviously the injury situation was tough, and like I said, stacked against them. But you'd like to see the maturity of this team be like, hey, we understand there's some adversity here, our backs are against the wall, but we can still handle business by playing well. And as much as I'd love to sit here and say the Jacksonville Jaguars came out here and looked dominant and deserved this win, and I'm not trying to take anything away from Jacksonville, but this was Buffalo's game to lose, and Buffalo lost.
Yeah, Jacksonville squeaked it out.
Squeaked it out. They have no business beating this Bills team. And now you're sitting here as a Bills fan or someone watching football, and myself included, and you watch them play Miami last week, and you're thinking this team's incredible.
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is they're 3-2 with losses to the Jets and to Jacksonville and wins against the Raiders, the Commanders, and Miami.
Yeah.
Who is this team? On paper, they are tremendous. They have a ton of talent. Josh Allen is that guy. Stephon Diggs is that guy. But when they come out and have performances like today, Jay, it's very hard for me to sit here and say this team is ready to make a Super Bowl run and be there in January or potentially in February.
Well, what about the Bengals? Like, not to say that they're a Super Bowl contender based on the way their season has started, but did they actually turn their season around on Sunday?
I think because of what happened in the Pittsburgh Ravens game, that helps them out quite a bit. What I think the Bengals offense is going to come down to is, can they protect Joe Burrow? There's this big narrative today that Jamar Chase is back, and I'm asking where he ever actually went.
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks ago, he had 12 catches for 141 yards.
Right.
Last week, he had 7 for 73. Okay, obviously today he had a historic game, 15 catches and 3 touchdowns. But if you watch these plays, Joe's back there pitching a tent, okay, which is great if you're a Bengals fan. But the reality was that was not the situation when they played the Titans last week.
Yeah.
So as much as we want to say, okay, is Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow back, I'm not sure they haven't been back for 3 or 4 weeks now. The difference was Joe Burrow wasn't getting absolutely tattooed in the chest every other play today. He was able to sit back there and deliver the ball with some ease.
This guy will be back in a moment to talk about the rest of the NFL Sunday.
That had to feel good.
Oh, man, he must be so happy. We're going to get to that. We got to talk about Bill Belichick. Since he just said starting over means starting over, what do you interpret that to mean?
So I think there's a lot of ways you can interpret it, Jay, but to me, when you show up in offseason, so not training camp, you really start from the basics every year. You're talking about putting in quick game plays you put in every year, and it is, tedious, it's tiresome, it's boring, but it kind of lays the foundation for your season. And clearly, whatever they had going in New England did not work and is not clicking. I mean, you're watching Mac Jones overthrow balls where he has time. He has very little feel in the pocket right now, and you saw that by the earlier pick that he gets hit and throws a pick 6. The pitch fumble there we just watched. And even this ball, it just seems like it's such a tough play when it's not. Yeah. I think the receiver there is hoping for a little more zip on the ball. You can see him reaching, like kind of waiting on it.
Yeah.
Again, he's got to make the play. That one's not on Mac. But what is so shocking, and what I think Bill is alluding to, is that he is a guy that, for what seems like since the dawn of time, has preached fundamentals, boring football. We're going to be technically sound. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're going to make good decisions. And a big quote that Bill has really coined that has trickled through this league is that most games in the NFL aren't actually won, they're lost. Mm-hmm. And that was his big thing. And, when Tom was there, like, hey, we're going to let other teams beat themselves. We're going to play just sound, let's call it boring football. Mm-hmm. Well, somehow they've become, in the matter of 2 years, the worst team when it comes to turning the ball over and beating themselves. So I think that's what he means by we've got to start over, because what his program, what that organization, everything that Bill Belichick stands for, and I'm not exaggerating, the product they're putting on the field is the polar opposite right now. And I know Bill has his funny interviews, but I can guarantee you he is enraged off camera.
He was so mad right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when you show up to Monday work, every single person in that building, including people that have nothing to do with the football side, are very anxious when they see Bill Belichick, because he is not a happy man.
And Sean Payton, also not a happy man. His Broncos are 1-4 after he criticizes Hackett in the preseason.
Okay, Jay, hear me out on this. I mean, we're going to get into some numbers here in a sec.
Sure.
But you're Nathaniel Hackett. Let's put we're Sean Payton. We get this job, and we go after Nathaniel Hackett for no real reason. Like, you didn't have to do it. And then all of a sudden, you get to this point where you're just so bad as a team and as an offense. What we're watching here, that last play and this play we're watching right here, were 2 of the top 3 most explosive pass plays that the Denver Broncos had today. They were simply chip, flat routes to the back.
Yeah.
And the next thing I'll say is, if you're going to run your mouth and kind of come in like you're this guru and you're going to fix everything, in this league at halftime, coaches are going crazy in the room. They're running around. The players usually, we get re-taped. Maybe you tape your ankle, get a new pair of gloves, whatever. You're drinking a Gatorade. The coaches are running around like crazy because they have these meetings that are very quick, and they're, here are the adjustments. Here's what the boost telling us we can see. This is what we're really going to focus on coming into the second half.
Right.
I'm going to get my sticky note out here.
Here it is. We've been waiting.
These were the first 5 drives for the Denver Broncos starting in the second half. 3 plays for 4 yards. 3 plays for -4 yards, 3 plays for -6 yards, 2 plays for -10 yards and a fumble, and then 3 plays for -2 yards. You're going to run your mouth about Nathaniel Hackett, and this is the product you're putting on the field after you and your staff come in and supposedly are making adjustments so you can come out hot in the second half. I mean, it looks like bad football. They're not doing anything throwing the ball very well. Certainly didn't today. It's, you saw the happiness of Nathaniel Hackett.
Oh, yeah.
It just makes Sean Payton look horrible. And to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me one bit.
No, I don't think it bothers a lot. It certainly doesn't bother Nathaniel Hackett. Dolphins hosting the Giants.